Hello, I'm Attorney Todd Leneve. Welcome to West Virginia Gun Law. Today, I'm miffed, and I want to take a little bit of time to talk about why the ATF's final rule on private gun sales has just gotten me set off. Stick around. Back in May of 2024, this year, the ATF Final Rule went into effect, under which the definition of what it means to be engaged in the business of firearm sales was changed. Historically, private individuals could engage in transactions with other private individuals, and there wasn't a requirement for there to be paperwork submitted to the government to approve those transactions. It has been that way since time immemorial, and now it's been changed. And what really is getting me chapped today is the fact that as soon as that rule went into effect, the Department of Justice and the underhanded people at the ATF immediately began going after private transactions. And it's important to understand that under this rule, even a single transaction can put you in the position of being what the ATF now classifies as an unlicensed firearms dealer. Their plan here is to get everybody who wants to sell firearms with any sort of regularity to register for status as an FFL, or a federal firearms licensee, so that one, they can charge you fees, two, they can invade your privacy by having the ability to come into your home or your business or wherever you're transacting these events with other people and inspect what you're doing, inspect your records. They're going to make you keep those records forever. And then, oh, by the way, if you decide to give up that license, they're going to be able to make an argument that any firearms you own are now inventory of an expired or surrendered FFL, meaning that they get to dictate how those firearms get distributed from that point on. It's a gross overreach. It's an abuse of what the Second Amendment is about. And I'm seeing this prosecution taking place here in West Virginia, among other places, of course, all across the nation. I've had 3 phone calls now, last one being this morning with a gentleman who here in West Virginia is being prosecuted for selling firearms through a private transaction process. This is a guy who, probably like most gun owners, has sold firearms from time to time to people that he knows or to people that he doesn't know but were connected from a mutual acquaintance, whatever the case may be. And so he's engaged in some transactions, he's sold some things, he's bought some things, made trades, all with the idea of enjoying his firearms collection, building it up, getting rid of things that he's no longer using that somebody else may want, doing things that historically we've been allowed to do. And there's not a single piece of evidence in this gentleman's case that any of the firearms involved were ever used in an illicit manner. They were never part of a crime. They weren't stolen, nothing like that. This is just a regular guy who's got a job, a wife, kids, a home, and he's engaged in selling some firearms from time to time, not with any great regularity, because he enjoys it. Well, one of the chat rooms that he is involved with online, where firearms transactions are developed and people have conversation about, hey, who has what, anybody interested in selling. And again, this is on a platform, I'm not going to get into it, but on a platform that is public, it's fully accessible, there's no security on it, it's a public forum where anybody can get on and talk about guns. Well, it was infiltrated by the ATF, and the ATF had somebody reach out to him and basically convince him to make a sale to them. Well, this gentleman ended up being prosecuted. He was sent what's called a target letter by the U.S. Attorney's Office in the district where this took place. And he contacted me right away. We discussed the case, went into a lot of detail. I gave him a lot of thoughts about what he may be able to do to defend the case. And after he decided to consider my services, came to the conclusion that he couldn't afford to hire me. So he went forward with an appointed attorney. As I said, I talked to him again today. And he's frustrated, and it really frustrates me because I believe what's happening to him is absolutely wrong. I believe that as Americans we have the right to engage in Second Amendment oriented activities, which in my mind involves being able to freely transact in firearms when we want to, with whomever we want to, as long as that person isn't prohibited. I don't believe we should be able to deal with felons or other people who are otherwise disqualified from possessing a firearm. But that's not what's going on in this gentleman's case. It's not what's been alleged against him. But he got an appointed attorney. And the call today was to tell me that after everything that I have suggested to him, trying to support him in any way that I can, short of being his lawyer and short of crossing ethical obligation boundaries, he's being shot down. And his attorney, who was appointed by the court, has repeatedly told him, I don't know anything about this field of law. What I can tell you is what the evidence shows, what they're telling me the rules are that apply, and this is your best interest to take a plea. Now in this guy's case, the offer that's apparently on the table would result in him receiving a sentence of probation, which in a typical federal firearms prosecution probably isn't a bad deal. But in this instance, I have grave doubts about what took place, what underlies the prosecution effort, and whether or not this gentleman did anything that actually arose to a violation of the law. One of the problems I see is that we get attorneys appointed who don't know anything about particular subject matter that may be at issue in the litigation. And that's a big deal. Now, it's not to say that a good attorney, a motivated attorney, can't learn a new field of law sufficiently enough to effectively defend somebody. But when you have an attorney who apparently is just repeatedly saying, look, this isn't my field, I don't know anything about this, but I can tell you that here are the problems that they've showed me, they being the Department of Justice, and you've got a real difficult road here if you don't take this plea deal. And so this guy is being pushed to take a plea that he doesn't want to take, and that ultimately he may not be interested in taking in terms of what his legal rights are and what may really apply in this case. But when you can't afford to bring a subject matter expert in to represent you, this is the kind of situation that our court system places you in. Now, this isn't to say that all appointed attorneys are like this. I know an awful lot of appointed attorneys who work like crazy for their clients. They put every bit of effort in, and these are skilled lawyers who do it out of a sense of obligation, if I might, that they want to help the court system, they want to help individuals, and so they will take appointed cases from time to time to be able to bring their skill set to bear for somebody. I can say that here in the Northern District of West Virginia, the Federal District, our Federal Defender's Office is staffed with some amazingly skilled and dedicated attorneys, particularly on firearms issues. And I consult with them regularly when cases come up and they have questions. We talk. They do everything they can to try to make sure that they understand the situation as well as they can, and they are good, effective attorneys. But not everybody is like that. This reminds me of the scene from Lethal Weapon 4.
You got the right to an attorney. If you can't afford an attorney, we will provide you with the dumbest lawyer on earth.
Not to say that that's what you're getting every time you get an appointed attorney. It's a funny scene. It's a lighthearted commentary on what sometimes is unfortunately somebody's liberty that relies on an attorney who just doesn't know what to do in a case. You know, this is one reason, again, that I strongly advocate people look at joining up with some of these grassroots Second Amendment organizations like Gun Owners of America, Second Amendment Foundation, and the others. In one of the lead cases right now coming out of the Federal District Court in the Northern District of Texas on this particular ATF rule, the judge issued a temporary injunction back in June of this year that basically said that any members of Gun Owners of America, Virginia Citizens Defense League, and several others, I've got them here on the screen, are immune from enforcement of this new rule. Well, as a member of the Gun Owners of America myself, it's nice to know that if I would decide to sell a firearm, I'm not going to be subject to prosecution. But it illustrates the point that joining and supporting these organizations who are out every day fighting for your Second Amendment rights is a good move to consider. And I encourage you, please, to do so. I appreciate you spending some time with me today and putting up with my somewhat rambling thoughts here. But like I said, I'm ticked off, and I wanted to share this with you guys and let you in on the dirty little secret about what's going on here. If you haven't subscribed already, would love to have you do so. Please hit that like and share button. If you do subscribe, also don't forget to hit the bell icon. Let's make sure that you're seeing the videos as they come out. And again, please like, share. Let's get the word out. People need to know what's going on. And this is one of the best ways we can do it, is having everybody chip in and get the word out to the rest of the people. Thanks for being here. Look forward to seeing you in the next video. Until then, take care and be safe.